to, what you have to take what you have, and you have to be able to set it up into all the different formats that we can write fractions. And fractions can be written in like 3 different ways. So the first thing we have here is if it's written like this, using that little oblique sign. That translates to, the top divided by the bottom. And if you're talking about a fraction, it would be the top of your fraction over the bottom of your fraction, right? That's where I'm getting top and bottom from, right? Fraction bars mean division, just like the little oblique sign, the little shoop, 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 that guy, that means division. And so then you can also set this up with the house. And when you're setting it up with the house, the bottom goes on the outside and the top goes on the inside. So all different ways that you can look at division. So let's put an example to this. Let's talk about 4 divided by 2. We know 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's the same as writing it as 4 over 2, which is also the same as writing it 2 going into 4. Those 3 things are all the same way to write that division piece. So when you're looking at this, you got to be careful about what you're doing. If you're doing it in the calculator, you're going to just go ahead and plug in that 24.48, that negative 24.48 divided by negative 7.2. I should be getting a positive 3.4. I'm just going to keep that in the back of my head. So I'm getting positive. That makes sense because when I have a negative divided by a negative, that leaves me with a positive answer. That's, again, just saving me that potential mistake of not writing, that positive or something. All right, so when we set this up, when we're doing this by hand, we're going to set this up with the bottom on the outside of our little house. I'm going to do this in blue. So it's negative 7.2 on the outside and negative 24.48 on the inside. So our directions say to move the decimals the same number of place values to the right until you are dividing by a whole number. When we talk dividing by, that is the number on the outside. So how many place values would I need to move my decimal point in order to make it? Okay, let's give the computer a second to load here. Okay, there we go. How many place values would I need to move my decimal point in the 7.2 so that I am dividing by a whole number? That'd be 1. So I'm dividing by negative 72 instead. So if I move my outside number 1 decimal point, I need to do the same thing to that inside in order to keep them equal, or keep it corresponding. So 0.8. Okay, so now I math. 72 can't go into 24, but it can go into 244. I'm going to guesstimate maybe 3 times, but I don't know for sure, so I'm going to come off to the side. 72 times 3. So 3 times does work. 3 is 216. And I'm just going to jump to my calculator. 244 minus my 216 is 28. 72 can't go into 28, so I carry down that 8. So 72 times 3 gave me 216. So I'm going to try 72 times 4 and see what that gives me. 8. Boom, which is actually really nice. So 4, 288, swoop, 0. And then that decimal point just carries right up. So I've got a final answer of 3.4, and that is positive because we already talked about the negative divided by the negative, making it positive. And that is also what I got in my calculator when I plugged it in to begin with. So good to go. make sure you're using your calculator to check yourself as you go, and give those homework problems or practice problems a try.